Welcome, everybody. We are back in the crypt. I'm so excited once again to be bringing you guys an incredible interview with an incredible guest. Very excited to hear about what has been going on in their life. I do know for sure they're still writing amazing music. They've got two new songs out that he's got two new songs that I want to hear about and just find out all about it because I really love the music that Diesel Automatic is putting out. That's my guest today. He needs no introduction. I've already done an interview with him, as you guys know. Wanted to get him back just to catch up with him, find out what's been going on over the months. As I know, I just said he's been writing music. That I do know for sure. So welcome back, Diesel. Very excited to have you here once again, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Happy to be back. Excited for it. It's going to be a
Uh,
good time.
awesome. Yeah, like you've been definitely. I can tell. As I was saying, I know you're busy writing some new music. You did one recently called "The Drubbing," which I remember sending you a message and telling you when I first heard it that I love the song. It's one of my favorites by you. There's a few that are my favorites that you do. That is right up there with them. And then you just recently did one "Fuck the Ops," which we're
Yeah.
going to be playing at the end of this video. At the end of this interview, we're going to leave the interview by playing that song so you guys can check it out. So, we're like, just break it down. What have you been up to for the last since the last time we spoke?
A lot, man. Traveled. I was on out and about for a couple months. Um, that was awesome, of course, productive. It was still doing music and things of that nature. Um, and then aside from that, just got back home couple months ago and just basically been grinding, man. The usual, just music, working out, making some moves.
Awesome.
Yeah, bro, that's really it. But yeah, just constantly putting music out. That's it's just
That's what you do.
always, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I
what
do.
you do. And yeah, amazing stuff too. Uh
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate
I
it.
love it. Yeah, you're really getting the message out there. And we were talking like I was kind of like I wish I would have hit record. I was saying right before the interview because we were talking about
Right.
social media and how it's evolved. And I want to really get you to talk about that because we're kind of
Mhm.
from the generation, at least I am, is where I remember when there was no internet. And then,
Sure.
it
Yeah.
slowly kind of creeped up and we went through a lot of transitions with lots of different platforms. And, now we both know censorship is like so extreme now. I know people every week that I talk to, they're getting videos pulled down, their channels are being pulled down.
Yeah, man.
I'm not a big fan, believe it or not, guys, of social media. I was telling Diesel that before we started recording that I do this because I enjoy meeting people and talking and getting the message out of freedom and truth and natural law and principles, all the things I speak about. But it's not something that I'm a fan of. And what are your thoughts like on the social media and where it's at? I'm just not a fan of it most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, same for the most part. Well, obviously there's good and there's bad. There's great
Right.
things. I mean, social media, I guess, if you kind of just include YouTube and all encompassing, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without it. So I
Me
have
neither.
to
Yeah.
be, I mean, if the ultimate determinant of whether I like something or not is would I want it to not exist, then I definitely like social media because I appreciate its existence. It's not just helped me out individually in terms of making a career for myself from doing what I love and helping other people, which is most important. It's enabled me to spread a message that is the most important thing to me to thousands of people who have otherwise probably wouldn't have gotten that message. So in the grand spectrum of it, yeah, it's great for me. But now when I look at the bigger picture of like every individual and as a collective, is it causing more harm than good? It's pretty debatable that
Right.
I mean there's a good argument to be made that it's, just causing more harm, especially for young people. And for me personally, I'm not particularly fond of using it anymore. As we were speaking earlier, um, I was so heavy into it for a long time, almost like the first decade, almost the first
Hmm.
10 years of my career, so to speak. I was heavily, people who are like new fans within the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years probably aren't familiar with that side of me. But yeah, I'm talking about like I was just talking to my one of my friends the other day, and They were like, yeah, I remember when, they were saying to me, like, I remember when you would post like fucking novels, like theses, state papers on Facebook, because it was mainly Facebook. When I got involved, Facebook
Yep.
was like popping, you know.
It was
I
huge. Yeah.
used, oh man, I would reply to every comment, every message. I would debate, bro. I mean, I had so many debates, back and forth interactions over any and everything. And like, don't get me wrong, it was good and it was useful and it definitely helped spread the message, helped bring people to my music, helped me meet people. It was good. Even like the debates and stuff, it helped me personally. It sharpened my communication
Right.
abilities and my logical thinking and processing and knowing how to debate, and how to go back and forth and make my point concisely. And but the flip side of that is that I it was always a struggle because no matter how concisely I would debate someone and make my points, mine was always a style of point counterpoint, right? Like
Hmm.
if I post something and somebody would comment something, kind of going against what I posted, I would respond to them with a counterpoint to every single point they made. And most
Wow.
people would respond to me then, not in the same manner, but rather with ad hominem attacks
Yep.
or whatever it might be, deflection, whatever. All the, the most common kind of tactics that
Oh
people
yeah.
use in debate when they can't really counter your point with an actual rational, logical point. So anyway, that's just one of the things, one of the dilemmas that I came across in social media, and oftentimes I get disheartened, and you know, um, and of course, like it definitely was overall good for me,
Hmm.
but now I'm at a point where I don't need that experience in life anymore. And I don't necessarily need, would it help if like I was going crazy on social media and super hyperactive? And would it help further my music? Probably. But I've worked my ass off for over a decade and got myself to a point where I have a solid core fan base of,
Hmm.
thousands of people, and where they just want my music. I could just
Yep.
put music out and I don't have to do all the other shit, all the other social media tactics and shenanigans and antics. And so,
Makes
because
sense.
man, I'm about to be 42 years old, bro. I'm not really, I did it. I've been there, done that. And now I'm just at a point where I want to really experience life, enjoy life offline, and just make music, man. Make as much good music as possible. And
Which you
social
are,
media
man.
takes away.
Yep.
Social media
It
would
really
take away
does.
from that. Like
Yep.
maybe at some point I'll get to a point where like I could hire somebody to, help me out with social media, and maybe that would do something in terms of like the consistency I could post with and all of that. But otherwise, I don't really care because my fans don't care. Like I've never had a fan, be like, damn man, I like your music, but I'm not your fan anymore because you don't post on social media regularly. Like
Yeah.
they don't care.
It's
So
true, and you make great points, Diesel, because like, I think we all go through that at when we start doing this. I mean, I know I did too. I was constantly in debates with people, and I would comment on everything, and I would try to tell people stuff, and then I realized that it was consuming my life to the point
yeah,
where I was at the keyboard. You're at the keyboard all day, and then I just you make a great point. You start missing life in a lot of ways, and I'm kind of like the same boat you are. I do this. I do love doing the whole interview aspect and getting the message out. As I said earlier, I love that aspect of it. But if I'm not going to be the guy sitting at my keyboard all day debating people and arguing back and forth and just getting it sucked into that whole social media thing, like you were saying, I'd rather be
yeah.
out living my life and experiencing life. I think that's more important than just.
Absolutely. I mean, especially the debating and arguing and going back and forth. Look, because like I said, it's never going to be a real debate. I mean, people could say, "Oh, yeah, you're biased because it's yourself," but honestly, genuinely, man, like objectively, I never attacked people. I kept it really within the boundaries of like what a real debate would be like if you were in
Mhm.
the debate club and stood in front of judges and debated somebody. Like
Right.
Just stick to the facts, stick to the points, point counterpoint. So it goes out the way. And anyway, that in and of itself is proof that it's. And people say, oh well, if you debate, maybe the people who are watching or other people will get something good from it, maybe. But ultimately, let's be real. Most of the times we're debating because it's our own thing. We don't want to be wrong. We want to prove the other person wrong. We want to be
Yep.
right. Most of the times that's really what it boils down to. Let's be honest. Um, and the thing about that is that you'll never really it doesn't really matter because look, a debate, I'd be down to debate on any issue that I stand for, right? Obviously not any issue in the world because I don't know, we're
Right.
in the things that I feel qualified for. I'd love to debate people, but to me a debate has to be in person, judges, organized. Otherwise, what are you debating for? A debate, I think it should have a winner. you know,
Yep.
like a lot of these new age whatever, they're like, oh no, that doesn't have to be a winner. We just debate for the. That's not even a debate. Has always been about there's a winner.
Right.
Like that's what you're debating for, and you'll never win online. It don't matter. You know
It
what I'm
doesn't
saying?
matter.
So yeah, it's kind of just I don't want. Again, it's one of those weird things in life that I can't even tell somebody don't do it or it's a waste of time, even though I did it because I gained from it. I did. It ultimately was a beneficial experience for me in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I can't really even knock it that much. I think mainly it's important to just be honest about it. Like, bro, if you on there debating and everything, it ain't a big right. It ain't a big righteous cause.
Yep.
Honestly, let's not bullshit ourselves.
Right.
Like if we're online debating and it's really yes, maybe we're passionate about the cause and we want to spread the message, but really if we're engaging with people, it usually, I mean, at least I know for me at least, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but I'm pretty sure it's usually just coming from a place of like our ego in a sense and our pride and like we just kind of want to prove that we're right for whatever sake because it
Yep.
does, man, and you could feel it when it crosses that point of like, okay, this is no longer just like, oh, like kind of trying to educate each other. This is now more than that. Like now I'm emotionally invested in it. I think that's the best way to put it. And when we become
Yep.
emotionally invested, it just, I
It
don't know, it
changes.
kind of
It
loses
turns
its,
ugly
yeah, it
most of the
changes the
time.
dynamic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're so right, and I'm glad you brought that up. Diesel ego is rampant. I think is in the world. I think people are really rubbing like ego is huge. Ego is a guy.
Yeah.
I like to have the debate. Is ego. I've kind of had discussions with people like ego, and is that there is it good? Is it bad? Is it either? I don't know. I mean,
Could be
can it
both,
be?
yeah.
Could be
I mean,
both. I mean,
I rarely find anything in this world to be black and white, either good or
mhm,
bad. Everything is up to us essentially for the most part.
I agree.
Ego. Listen, my ego, um, to this day it helps me as it should. We should like my ego will, for example, in moderation, I do want to succeed and I do want to, you know there's an aspect of me that wants to and has proven to the naysayers and the people who doubted me and the people, all of
Hmm.
that's okay, man. If that's what motivates you and what drives you and you use it in a way of an alchemist and you transform it
Right.
into positive, something positive for yourself, it could be great. You know what I mean? The problem, of course, is taking it to extremes and getting caught up in it and essentially letting the ego control you as opposed to using your ego as kind of a tool to help fuel you and motivate you and get shit done,
Yeah.
to be honest.
It's a good point. It's a good point. It was a great, yeah. Like I've always had that discussion because a lot of people now like they're really like hammering on ego and confidence. I find, which is I just think it's part of their agenda where they're really kind of trying to put a negative light on it. But I'm in the same boat you are. I think that ego can be used in a positive way. To me, it's what makes you want to excel and it makes you confident and um, I just it just helps. I mean, I don't know what to
Yeah,
say, but
no,
you make a great
absolutely.
point. You got to
Absolutely.
kind
I
of keep
mean,
it brought in.
for sure. For sure. It's only when it's out of control, man, and when your whole life and everything revolves around your concept of yourself through the eyes of the ego, if that
Right.
makes sense.
It makes
You know what I'm
total sense.
saying? Like when
Yeah.
all you do is relate to yourself through the ego, everything is about how you look, everything is about, these superficial things, and that totally defines you. Like I don't
That
that's when it's a problem. Otherwise, as long you're still a spirit, you're just here in the physical form. You're much greater than anything physical, anything that the ego can attach to,
mhm.
but still honor the fact that, and I think this is where people go to the opposite extreme of, like, spirituality and the way, they want to kind of just live in this world of the ethereal and the spiritual, and in doing so you're denying the absolute reality of this material world. Like,
Right.
whether we're spirits, souls, whatever, whether we choose to or whatever it is, it's undeniable we are living in some type of material existence, so you can't totally avoid it and act like it doesn't matter. In fact, one could argue that the whole reason our spirits are in this world is to experience the material world. And by denying that and depriving your spirit that experience in transcending, oh, I'm just in the spiritual realm, actually you're being counter spiritual. I think I can make an argument that the most absolute spiritual thing you could do is to live in the world of the material, to
Mhm.
experience it fully, everything that comes with being a being and being material. Because if we have a soul in our spirit, that's what it's here for. All that spiritual, ethereal shit, we'll return to that after
Yep.
this, maybe, maybe not. But regardless, I honestly feel that, because I used to also get caught up in that trap and even be hard on myself when I felt like I wasn't ascending above worldly things that I should
Right.
be, as like
Yep.
a someone that I felt I'm evolved in a way. But then it came full circle to like, okay, wait a second though, like, what's the point of that? What we're here for to experience this world, this
Yep.
material reality. And that's why, man, we can't, certain things like physical appearance. Of course, like when we talk about don't judge a book by its cover, sure, don't judge a person, their deeper inner workings based on how they look, how they dress, things like that. Absolutely. But we also can't deny the fact that we are wired, our brains are wired in such a way, and this is through whatever evolution or whatever it is, but it's there to find things that are aesthetic, to find
Mhm.
aesthetically pleasing things the most attractive.
Yep.
So even our physical appearance, we could live in la la land all we want, but guess what? There is a level of objective physical beauty even. And now
Yep.
you see all this, oh, fat shaming, ugly shaming, whatever, all this bullshit. Like, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't. I was a fat kid, I in the 80s, 90s, bro. So I know, trust me, back then there was no mercy. I grew
Oh
up a
God,
fat
yeah.
kid having a, but that's part of why I got good at battle rapping, because I had to protect, fight back with verbally
Right.
when kids would, try to pick on me and shit. But anyway, so I'm not saying that like fat people should be ashamed or ugly, but we can't try to live in this fake world where we say, oh no, it's beautiful to be fat. No, it's not. It's not. A fat person, sure, they can have a level of attraction because ultimately it is subjective to a degree, but there is an objective reality. You could take a fat person and they lose weight, and you put them side by side, and objectively the thinner version of themselves is going to look more aesthetically pleasing to
Mm.
us inherently. It just
Right.
is. It's like geometry. There is sacred geometry in the universe. There are shapes, there are figures that are aesthetic. It just is what it is. So, and that's okay, because that's about everybody having a preference. And okay, I find this attractive, right? But
Yep.
again, as long as we are not saying, oh, that person is ugly, so they must be just a horrible person and they must suck. And then,
Mhm.
like, or not even give them a chance, like, you know what I'm saying, to
Yeah.
show who they are as an actual person. But all this, like, to deny, the ego, and going back to what it is, the ego, the material world, physical appearance, all of these things is to essentially deny reality. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which, hey, if that's what a person wants to do, cool, but
Hmm.
don't tell me that I have to. Don't
Exactly.
tell me that I have to find morbidly obese women beautiful and want to sleep with them. And if I don't, I'm some kind of weirdo. Nah,
Right.
sorry.
Right. You make points about the world we live in, and I bring that up a lot, Diesel, in my a lot of my shows that I do. That it's not it's complicated. I mean, and I totally agree with what you're saying. That you have to live in this world. I look at the world that we live in as a classroom. I always have. I'm learning, I'm growing, but I have to be part of the world to learn the lessons that it's trying to teach me. And then I find that people are very unbalanced a lot of the times. They're either, like you said, they're right on the whole spiritual side. That's all they focus on, or they're on the other side,
Yep.
and they're totally, just about ego
But
and
they're not
because
really. But here's the thing, though. They're not really. If they were totally immersed in the spiritual, then
Mhm,
they would be Buddhist monks or some shit, right? Then they would be off in some chapel or somewhere just immersed in their spirituality and meditation all day. But
mhm,
no, they're spiritual in theory, but guess what, Rick? They still go to work every day. They still interact in society every day. So you see, by them, like a Buddhist monk to me is not denying reality. They're
mhm,
immersed in a different form of reality. But the spiritual person who every day has to drive their car, take public transportation to work, engage in society, do all these material, actual things, but then wants to live in la la land, that is a person that has an issue.
right.
If you really are all about that spiritual shit, hey,
Oh
there's
yeah,
people that are. There are
yeah,
Buddhist monks. There are plenty of different monks and castes of people and whatever you want to call it, tribes, and that live totally in that spiritual realm. Even them, they still have to be in the material to a degree, but they're
yeah.
far more in that spiritual realm, I'd say, than most people, right?
Agreed.
Um, so to me, it's just silly, man. It's wishful thinking, on the
Yeah,
it sounds good, bro, because people want to transcend. It's even ego. That's a weird thing too. There's a lot of ego traps in the new age spirituality stuff, bro.
absolutely.
There's
There
a
is.
lot of ego traps, because people start to think, oh, well, I kind of it'll make me better than others. I'm better than other people because I can rise above the material shit and I can
Yep.
transcend it and da da da. And it's just like, nah.
It's complicated. It really is, and I talk to people a lot about that. Actually, a lot more than people would probably even imagine. I'm really like going. I was telling you before we started recording that I like going and meeting people face to face. I'm sure you do too. And really,
Yeah.
that's where I think you get the best accurate where people are at. When you talk to them and start getting to know them face to face, and and it's kind of like a back and forth. And I'm open. I love that. I love kind of that, you could even call it a debate or maybe just a dialogue, but it gives
Yeah.
you a great idea of where people are at. And you're right. We're in this material world, and I think people get caught in these traps where it's like you said, they think they should be way up spiritual, and then we're in this material world. So it's a dance that we have to do, and it's not as easy
Yeah.
as just follow, just do this and then ignore this. There's a
No.
balance that people are lacking.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I think, and you know what, a big where you can see this reflected a lot. It's not necessarily spiritual, but um, you know, it's this concept of money, right?
Mm.
This is what
Oh
I see
yeah.
the most in. You have these people who are like, no, they know about the monetary system, the Federal Reserve, fiat money, all these things, which is all true. But then what they do is they say, "Oh, money's bad, and you shouldn't make money. You shouldn't care about money. You should." But it's like, bruh. But at the same time, these people, I know they're on the internet. They're paying an internet bill. They must have a job. They're working a job. They're on the system. They're in the system. They're on the grid. They have bills to pay. They're doing something to fucking survive within this system because you need money to do that. But
Yep.
then they, out the side of their face, they want to tell other people money's bad. You shouldn't want money. Don't make money.
Mm-hmm.
You see that detachment, and it's the same with it's the same in essence of the spiritual people. Oh, spiritual, but they're still every day caught up in the material world.
Yep.
To me, that's just it's this cognitive dissonance, and money is like been one of the biggest ones throughout my experience of people being like having just told, and it's understandable because it is fucked up.
It is.
Money, be the fiat currency, the monetary system, it's all fucked up. And
Mm-hmm.
no, honestly, I've been rapping about it, since before most people even knew about it.
Yeah.
So I don't, nobody needs to tell me per se about money and what it is and the evils that lie behind it. But money itself, like we spoke about everything so far, is neutral. It money is not evil. How can money be fucking evil when I could take right now $1 million and literally save people's lives and change
Yeah.
their lives for the exponentially better?
Mm-hmm.
How is that evil? No, what's evil is people. People can be evil. People and the things they do to acquire money and power is evil. Money itself is not evil, and we as conscious people need to wipe that out of our fucking thoughts, because guess what, ultimately, if we ever want to overcome and prevail, we're going to need money, because money will buy us arms, money will buy us bullets, money will buy us houses and things to build communities off the grid. All right,
Mm-hmm.
not fucking your self-righteous holier than thou, criticisms of those who are actually making money and doing things to help people to make better situations and prepare themselves for whatever may come in the future, because money is needed for that. Because let's be honest, man, even if you want to get off the grid, you need money. Because and this is you nowadays, you go on the internet and you swear, bro, every other guy, is a wilderness man survivor. Every other guy, oh, I don't need money. I could survive in the wilderness. No, you fucking won't. No, you won't.
Yeah.
Maybe a small percentage, a minute percentage of people in this world are properly trained to be able to really survive off the grid with no resources. The
Mm-hmm.
rest of us would wither away and die, myself included. I
Yeah.
am
Me
not
too.
right now in any position. Somebody drop me somewhere off in a deserted island. I would try my best. I'm not gonna lay down and die, but I don't even know how to make a fucking fire. I don't know how to look up at the stars and find my direction. I don't know any of that shit, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure most other people do not either, because we live in the grid. We live in the system. And for as
Yeah.
long as we do, we need money for it. And if we want to get off, we need money for it. So
Yeah.
all of
That's
this,
a
it's
good.
so much it's a lot of delusion, it's a lot of cognitive dissonance, it's a lot of young people too, maybe. Because look, bro, obviously once you get in your 30s and 40s and those bills start adding up in life, and I don't think any fucking grown ass man is gonna tell another grown man, oh, what are you making money for?
Yeah.
To me, you got to be a kid who's never paid a bill, or who has no financial responsibility. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to sit up there and talk about, oh, what do we need money for? You know?
Yeah. It's just how the world is. I totally agree. It's what we live in. I think about that a lot, and I also thought about. We were just talking. Me and my friend were talking yesterday about what you just brought up about people going into the woods. Like if the whole system goes down, we can go in the woods and we can survive. And I'm thinking, I like before I got my the disease I'm dealing with. I was in the woods constantly. I love nature. I'm always trying to be out in nature. So I have spent lots of time in the woods. It's not easy. You have to know what you're doing. So if you think you're just gonna grab a go bag, head into the woods, and you're gonna be mountain man, you're just being truthful. you're gonna die. Like, I just want to let
That's
people.
it, bro. That's it. And
Yep.
then if we really want to, if we're getting into some doomsday type shit, think about it. If it's like that, like if we're talking about a collapse of the system and, chaos ensues and you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna people think, oh, we're gonna take down the system and things are overnight gonna be great and hunky dory. Nah, bruh. Like things are gonna be way worse until
Yeah.
we figure it out and communities are built. And so imagine that. Imagine, hey, even if you are a survivor man and you know how to survive in the wilderness, well, guess what? When the system collapses, not only are you going to have to survive in the wilderness, there are going to be people trying to murder you, kill you, eat you, rape you, take
Yep.
everything you have. How about that?
It's truth.
Then what?
Yep.
People they don't really, I've been saying this for so long, bro. Like, I'm not a fool. I don't want as much as I want revolution and I would love the system to collapse. Part of me is like, no, not right now because I am not ready.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
ready right now. I'm working towards it. And that's a goal of mine in life to get to a point where I could be off the grid, have my own fucking arms, like fully armed, have
Mm-hmm.
safe rooms, have food on stock, all of that shit. Be ready. You never know. But also, I'm
Yep.
not gonna be paranoid and right now sell everything I have, sell my apartment, and just go get off the grid because maybe shit will happen. I can't do that either. You know what I'm
It's
saying? But
truthful.
nonetheless, to me, that's the real only way. You let's say shit hits the fan. At least if you're off the grid and you're armed and you built kind of your own fortress, especially if you have a community, more people, you're all armed. That's the only way you're really going to be able to get by in a
Absolutely.
situation like that.
Yep.
If the world collapses, because
I talk
trust,
about
man,
that a
we
lot.
talk about all the prisons are empty, all the psychopaths are on the loose, even the quote unquote normal people in situations like that, the worst of them will come out. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? It would
You're
be
just being
bad.
honest. Yep, you're just being honest in that, and that's a you bring up a great point, and it's kind of cool that we're bringing in, like, because I know you. I only have a little bit of time with you, D. So it's kind of cool that you brought up community because that's one thing that I speak about all the time. Like that's one of my main
Yeah,
topics is that if we're going to turn things around, it's going to be through community, and it's going to be getting boots on the ground in your area and starting
that's
to
it.
do the work. You have to do the work on yourself, which I know you've wrote about, you sing about. um
Always.
yeah,
I
you
live
have to do the
about
work
it.
on yourself.
That's what
Yeah,
I don't just sing it, I live it, bro.
you
That's what
live it.
my whole life is, self-improvement, man. Constantly
Yeah,
striving.
absolutely. And that's what a big thing is, that people have to start doing the work on themselves, like, and then
Yeah, man.
going out into community, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually get out and meet people. It's shocking, D, in my area, how many people have been living in the same community for, some people 10, 20 years. They don't know their neighbors, they don't know
Oh yeah.
anybody around them, and I'm like, you're not going to just do, when it does, and then will it collapse? I think it will. Everything does. Open a history book, you're going
Mhm.
to see that thing, and everything falls eventually. But
100%.
if you think you're gonna, yeah, you think you're just gonna go and live on your own and do this all on your own, people aren't ready for that. It's gonna be community. It's so important.
Absolutely, bro. And my mindset is the exact I think we need people like us to get rich. Honestly,
Mm,
I think we need more people like us to get rich. I'm not talking billions. I ain't because that's a whole different. But to get enough money to be able to create our own communities,
right.
that to
Yep.
me is the key moving forward, and that's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't give a fuck. I long ago, I used to care. I used to not, oh, money, this and that. Nah, bro, because I realized like I want to make a community. I want to at some point on a big piece of land, make community, invite my get big fam, everybody, anybody who wants that I'm close with, let's come,
Hmm.
let's live, let's make this community. We'll have families, we'll raise our children within this community. And we could still partake in society to whatever degree we choose or not.
Hmm.
But mainly, we'll have this close knit community, which will be like family. We'll look out for each other. We'll all contribute. We'll obviously it'll be, non-aggression. No
Yeah.
authority. Like it'll just be all voluntary, cooperative, And that's the way. And if we, people like us, continue to do these and sprout up these little communities, and then those communities connect and create a system of communities throughout the world, now we're talking. This is a real actual solution,
Right.
not airy fairy. Oh, let's go and fucking shoot the government and kill all the politicians. Like, bro, grow up, stop. You know, this that I thought like that 15 years ago. But when
Right.
you're in it as long as I am, and you're doing it, and you too, as long as we have, and you really think and you really know and you look and you read and you research and you talk and yo, this is a real practical solution. And it's
Yep.
attainable because guess what? We don't need billions. We don't even need hundreds of millions. If like 10 of us, 10 of us within this conscious movement, if we all just had a
Yep.
million to invest.
Wow.
Everybody
Yeah.
puts in a million. You got 10 investors, 10 million. You know what kind of it's not, obviously you don't want to be in LA or Chicago or New York. You're going to be maybe somewhere in Europe or South America or wherever, out in the boonies, out in the boondocks, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody around, but that's what you want. And for 10 million, let's even less, you could get a huge piece of land for super cheap somewhere remote, and you could build, especially if it's in a country that's has a lower standard of living. Let's say
Yep.
cost is cheaper, bro, and that's not unrealistic. Any of us could make $1 million, bro, if we really put our minds to it and did it. It's
Yep.
not $1 million is no longer some crazy fucking thing, and you don't have to be unethical. A billion, that's different. If we're talking billionaires, it's going to be hard to make $1 billion without stepping on some ants along the way, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Yep.
But millions, you could do it honestly. You could do it ethically. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And it will make a world of difference. So that's what I think, man. I honestly think everybody should be trying to make as much money ethically, honestly as they can to ultimately create community. I mean, in worst case scenario, it won't do you bad. The more money you got, the more people you could help, the more
Mm-hmm.
money you could give to people and causes that you believe in and that need help, the more you could help yourself, help your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
I
more you
agree.
can invest, the more you can invest into whatever it is that you do, whatever your form of activism is. You can invest into your podcast, your YouTube, your music, help spread the message even further. So
Yep.
it ain't gonna hurt. It'll do you good no matter what. But
Absolutely.
the last thing we need is a bunch of fucking broke, unmotivated, low life, fucking scumbag revolutionaries who are just online spewing hatred and promoting violence. Well, let's kill we don't need that. Fuck
Right.
do we need that for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And trust, bro, to have that mindset about money and oh, money's bad and I don't want money. That's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want. We're all slaves to some degree, but trust, there's no
Absolutely.
worse
Yeah.
type. The lowest level on the totem pole of slaves is the poor slave. Believe that. Believe that.
That's just the truth. You're not.
It's
Yeah.
the truth. So you
Yep.
could complain about money all you want, cry about it, boo hoo, the sister, all monetary, the Fed, blah blah blah. But guess what? Is that going to change your situation? No, and that's what they want. You're going to be stuck in a victim mindset. You're going to have this horrible thoughts and feelings around money, which is just going to keep you fucking stuck in a rut and broke and depressed and even more of a slave. Why do you think that the most impoverished places in the world have the worst environment and circumstances, and the people are the worst, the crime, everything? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Yeah.
That is the slave mindset. That's what they want.
Yep.
So the irony of it is, like, it's kind of like, yo, if you stand broke, you kind of doing what they want you to do. Now, don't get me
Right.
wrong. If you're getting rich and you're just spending it all on bullshit, they want you to do that too. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Yep.
they both equally. But if you're making money and you're doing some real good and you're putting it in, Trust me, watch, especially in America. You want to test that? If somebody has money, go and try to start a community somewhere. Go and try and buy up a bunch of land and start building off the grid community. I bet you wherever that you would try, they're gonna give you some problems because they don't want
Oh,
shit like that. I guarantee
exactly.
you, either you're gonna have a hard time getting permits or whatever, but they're gonna try to stifle that process. But now you take that same money you would spend on buying some land and building off grid sustainable community and go and try and buy a fucking big old villa mansion somewhere, typical
No
mansion. No
problem.
one will care. No one's gonna care. Or go try
Nope.
and build a skyscraper or something that is part of the system. They're not gonna care. They're gonna be
Nope.
happy.
Yep.
So
They fear the
that
power.
alone should exactly, and that alone should show you that it's not the money. That is the point of it all. It is not the money that makes it good or bad, or it's what you do with it. It's what you do with the money. That's
Right.
it. And how you
Wow.
acquire it. How you acquire it.
Absolutely.
That is important. That is important. I'm not saying I don't think we should get rich by any means necessary, at least me personally. So that means I'm not going to be out here selling drugs or selling alcohol or doing anything that I personally feel contributes to the downfall of people and to their
Hmm.
detriment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the only stipulation. Other than that, you know, get money,
Great
get
points.
get big, build communities, help people, make it happen, man. Straight up.
Absolutely. Wow, Diesel. Thank you so much. That's so powerful. And you're so right. They fear us coming together in a strong community. That's why they're destroying communities. That's why they're destroying families. And
That's
they're
it.
trying to tear the
Listen,
whole family.
I give one. Let me give this one last anecdote just to back
Sure
that
thing.
point. In Chicago, back in the days, I believe it was the 50s. There's a notorious gang in Chicago. It's called Vice Lords, right? So
Hmm.
of course now they're just known for violence and bullshit, like all street gangs are in America at this point. But the Vice Lords did not start like no gang started like that. Gangs started as community protectors. That's how gangs were originated in America back in the days. They were pretty much they'd protect their own communities from racist white people in the neighboring communities. A lot of times the Italians would come into the black communities and rough them up, whatever. Even the police. So they created these gangs to protect their own people and their own communities. And the Vice Lords, it was on the south side, I believe, south or west, I think south side of Chicago. But regardless, they not only did they protect their community, what they did was they established a whole basically infrastructure of their community. They had their own
Hmm.
stores, their own economy, essentially. And it was thriving. I mean, there's other documents, Black Wall Street, the US government bombed it.
Right.
I don't mean to laugh insensitively, but that just shows you like the same with the vice lords. The feds came in, they arrested the leader. Ultimately, he got killed. They broke it all up because that is the last thing they want to see. And it's not about black people, it's about poor people, it's about the slaves. The last thing they want to see is any of us coming together using with money and power and using it to create our own shit, our own economies, our own infrastructure, our own communities. They don't want that. And that should be a clear-cut sign that that's exactly what we should do. Because the
Exactly.
more they don't want it and the harder they go to stop shit like that means that it's really important we do shit like that.
Yep, absolutely. Well said, Diesel. Thank you so much. Before I know you got to go, so I just want to wrap it up. I let
Yeah,
everyone know that I would be playing your newest song, "Fuck the
amazing.
Cops." Where just to wrap it up, when did you start writing this? What was the reason behind it? Like anything you want to let people know about this
Yeah.
song?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Good question. So basically, fuck the ops is it's like my version of UK NY drill, and drill is like a popular kind of style of rap. It actually originated in my hometown, Chicago, but then like the UK kind of took it and made their own version, and then New York kind of. It's weird because it started in Chicago, then the UK guys kind of copied Chicago, and then the New York guys copied the London guys. So it's
Right.
I don't know, it's kind of weird. But anyway, this was kind of my version of it. because it's a specific style of beat as well. It has like a it's called like a bass like a wobble sort of like it's but anyway
Okay.
and then of course in this particular drill is notorious. Drill came from in Chicago, they used to say we drilling, that means we're going out and like shooting people, killing,
Okay.
drilling. So
Mm-hmm.
they called it drill, so it's obviously hyper violent and all the typical bullshit, right? And a common expression that these young street guys and these drillers say is the ops, the opposition. Ops means opposition, so they'll say fuck the ops, fuck the opposition. So I really wanted to just take the whole style, take the even the terminology, and just make my own version of it. And basically, it's like, yeah, you guys are right. It is fuck the ops, but the ops, the opposition is not your sisters and your brother, man. The opposition is the government.
Right.
So, yes, say it loud and proud. Say it with your chest, young man. Fuck the ops. But recognize that the ops are the government, are the system, are the 1%, are these fucks. Not the kid, not the dudes that live right around the corner from you, down the block from you, that literally could be your brother, your sister, your cousin, your mom, your whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So and obviously the
Awesome.
song emphasizes that point, freedom, natural, really emphasizes natural law, natural rights, and so on and so forth, as I usually do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diesel. And just to wrap it up this last couple of seconds, anything you want to let people know? Do you have anything coming up? I know that Funnel 3 is coming. You will be appearing
Yeah,
there doing a song for that. So look forward to that, guys. I will keep you guys posted on that. Anything else that you got going coming up or they can let people know or what's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on?
for sure. For sure. Basically, just I pretty much just drop a new song every month at this point. So sometimes it's a music video, sometimes it's just a lyric video. So yeah, next month actually I'm dropping. Excuse me, I just got the hiccups all of a sudden. Next month I'm dropping. Next month I'm dropping actually the follow up single to "Fuck the Ops," which is called "Retaliation." So it's kind of like not exactly a continuation, but it's similar enough in theme to where I'm pretty much labeling it the follow up single. So it's called "Retaliation." That drops. No, excuse me, not next month. This month,
Oh
end
wow,
of this
okay.
month. The next month, I have another single, a big one. It is called "Rise of the Machines," which I'm excited for because that one really gets into the whole AI craziness that I really feel like this year. I mean, obviously AI has been around forever, but this
Mm-hmm.
year I think anyone who is online and who knows and can see this year really marks like a huge leap in AI evolution.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's a lot to talk about with that. You know what I mean? There are a lot of
Yep.
questions and concerns that we should all be raising and asking because, science fiction, man, it's here. The
I
future is
agree.
now.
I
So
agree.
yeah, so both are gonna be big tracks, man. I'm looking forward to dropping those. And yeah, other than that, man, just always, like I said, a new song every month, new music all the time. So everybody just check me out, search me up. If you don't know, Diesel Automatic on all platforms, just Google search it, whatever engine you use. And that's that.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome, Dean. I'll make sure I leave links into the description of this video for your YouTube and all your other channels. So, uh,
Much
on
appreciated.
platforms. Yeah, buddy. And thank you so much once again for joining me. I know you're busy, so I was really looking forward to this, Diesel. And keep up doing what you're doing. Keep up your amazing music, getting the message out there and getting big on them because you're doing it and you're doing it amazingly. So just keep up what you're doing, Diesel. You're rocking, man. You really are.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. And you're awesome. It's always fun coming on here. And like I told you the first time, here we are already second time. I think this is actually one of the few podcasts I've even come on for a second time. So
Wow.
and I'm sure there will be many more. I look forward
Absolutely.
to if you'll have me being a regular guest on the show. So
Absolutely, Diesel. I promise I will. I will keep in touch, my friend, and I will end this interview here with Diesel's new song, Fuck the Ops, that you just spoke about. And I will keep in touch, Diesel, and I will talk to you very soon, my friend.
all right, big love and
Uh,
respect, Rick, and to
you
everybody out
too.
there listening. Salute.
Take care, brother. Take care.
All right.
All
Peace.
right. Peace. There we go.
Fuck the ops, cause the real ops are the government. Government, yeah. We busting shots. If it's not the fence, then we up in it. Up in it. Bang. The injustice stops when we come together and we end it. Yeah. Freedom for all, no one exempted. Yeah. Natural law, we must defend it. These natural law and natural rights means that people are free to do as they please without harming in actual life. Actual life. If it's survival, then we must strive to cause the least amount of damage to other sentient beings, cause that is the meaning of peace. The meaning of peace. Non-aggression is the principle. I got a question, no. Is aggression only physical? No. That was rhetorical, based on historical evidence. We should take caution from every form of aggression, like death, exploitation, coercion, extortion. Fuck the police and the unjust laws that they be enforcing. There will be no peace as long as the government's filling the coffins. Democide worldwide is the result of the belief in the authority of the governmental code. Fuck the ops, cause the real ops are the government. Government, yeah. We busting shots. If it's not defense, then we up in it. Up in it. Bang. The injustice stops when we come together and we end it. Yeah. Freedom for all, no one exempted. Yeah. Natural law, we must defend. Fuck the new world order. I'm a natural lawyer. I swore to defend the rights of men and women and all the little kids and everything on the earth. Okay. That's living because our rights are God-given. Ain't nobody in a position to qualify to make a decision. No determines the fate of any sentient creature. If you worship the state, just pay attention. I'll teach you that the government objectively, morally and ethically has no authority on us because we are free inherently. So here's my proposition. Fuck the opposition. Fuck the 1% and all their crooked puppet politicians. Fuck the tyrants with an iron fist. Fuck their experts and fuck their scientists. They're all a bunch of lying tricks. Fuck the ops, cause the real ops are the government. Government, yeah. We busting shots. If it's not the fence, then we up in it. Up in it. Bang. The injustice stops when we come together and we end it. Yeah. Freedom for all, no one exempted. Yeah. Natural law, we must defend it. Yeah. Fuck the ops, cause the real ops are the government. Government, yeah. We busting shots. If it's not the fence, then we up in it. Up in it. Bang. The injustice stops when we come together and we end it. Yeah. Freedom for all, no one exempted. Yeah. Natural law, we must defend it. Defend it. It's time we all realize that the ops are not our sisters and our brother men, because the real opposition is the sick and twisted government. Yeah. Diesel Auto, GBGC, keeping it gangsta. You know what we do. We get big. Yeah, ho. Cause the real ops are the government. Government, yeah. We busting shots. If it's not defense, then we up in it. Up in it. Bang. The injustice stops when we come together and we end it. Yeah. Freedom for all, no one exempted. Yeah. Natural law, we must defend it.
Well, there we have it, my friends. Hope you guys love the newest song, Diesel Automatic. Fuck the ops. I want to thank Diesel Automatic once again for joining me for our second interview. I was looking forward to this one. Always love touching base with Diesel and talking about his music and where he's, just his thoughts on things, what is going on in the world. I really do enjoy. I was letting him know before I recorded when we were just talking in the green room that I really like the shorts that he does on his platform, YouTube channel and his other platforms, where he just he's walking, he's talking, and he's just giving his thoughts on things. Really enjoy that. So guys, I will leave a description. I promise I'll leave a link, I should say, in the description for Diesel's YouTube channel and his other social media. So please go check it out. Show your love, show your support. Check out all his music. He writes so many incredible music, a lot of collaborating with other artists and really getting the message out there. So like I was saying, please go check him out, guys, because he is fighting back. He's speaking truth. He's really letting people know what's going on. So once again, thank you so much, Diesel. I really did enjoy this. And of course, you're always welcome back here. And I'm looking forward to doing part 3. Absolutely, guys. So thank you once again for checking it out. Stay safe, guys. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Love each other. And go out there and start doing the great work. Start getting the message out there, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.